Good morning, good morning, good morning. How are you guys doing out there in Facebook land? So, it is, I think, December 3rd, and I decided that for the month of December, I was going to do some Facebook Lives and talk to you guys a little bit about content and training and the value that content and training adds to your organization or your business. So, I decided, well, what are the key points? What are things that people really need to know about content? And I think that what I have found is most people have difficulty with translating what it is that they feel, they think, they believe, and translating that into the content of what it is that they do for their business or for their nonprofit organization. So I am here today to talk to you guys a little bit about that. And I have a couple of tips. So I have about 3 or 4 tips that I'm going to share with you guys. If you did not know, my name is Tiffany Taylor Hicks, and I am the owner of Velvet Rope Experience Training Solutions, and we create epic training experiences. So my goal for 2019 is to do more sharing with people about content and training and how they can use content and training to get more engagement from their audience, also to acquisition more sales, as well as retaining the people that you currently have by making sure that you are giving them the kind of content that, one, resonates with them, two, that also solves problems for them, and then three, excites them and makes them emote in some kind of way that they engage with either your content on your website or with your podcast or with your Facebook Lives or with any type of marketing material that you put together. So welcome, and thank you very much for hanging out with me for the next couple minutes. So the very first thing I wanted to talk about is that anything that you do or talk about or share, whether it is verbally or whether it is in picture form, or if you do it in the form of video, it's all communication. So one of the things that I say pretty often and share with my students at Lone Star is that communication is creation. So whatever it is that you communicate to people, you are creating an image or a vision, or you are creating the thought that will surround you as a person or you as a business. So anything that you say about yourself, anything that you say about your business, however you speak about it, whether you use positive words, whether you use things that cause people to emote, all of those things are really creating the image that people have of you and the thing that you love the most, whether you are creating an image for yourself, whether you are creating an image for your business, whether you are creating an image for your nonprofit, which is also a community business. So I wanted to talk to you about introductions. That's where we should start. The most important thing about communicating is having the right introduction. So when you've heard this before, that the first time that you meet someone, or the first impression, is the most important, because it sets the tone of where that relationship will go, or what people will think about you or your business or your nonprofit organization going forward. So one of the things that I talk to people about is making sure that you have the right content for your introduction. So here's some things that you should ask yourself when you talk about who are you, and that's really important. Sit down and take a little bit of time to write down who you are. It's important for you to be communicating internally who you are, because you are creating that image of yourself in your own mind, but also so that you can express that to other people. And if you have practiced it enough within yourself, it should come to you authentically. So there are some people that really struggle with talking about themselves. I know that even though I'm really good at content development, and even though I can do videos, and even though I can talk to people and share with them one-on-one who I am, I had a little bit of difficulty writing about who I am. And that is simply because it's not as easy to brag about yourself when you're writing. It takes a lot of thought. But what I want to challenge you guys to do today is, when you're talking about introductions, think about, what do you want people to walk away from the interaction with you? What do you want them to think? What do you want them to know? What are some of the key characteristics or characters about you that you want people to walk away from that engagement with you knowing? So I'll give you an example. One of the things that I always want to make sure that when I introduce myself, I want people to know that I am very passionate about content and about training. So in my introduction, I always make it a point to express that. So I talk about how important content is, how important it is for you to know what you want people to know about yourself or what you want them to know about your business, and how content and training is really a way for you to tell a story about yourself or about your business or about your product or about your service. And that's super important. So that's one of the things that I make sure when I'm introducing myself to people, I lead with that, because that is my absolute passion. So today's tip is, because I'm going to do a series of them. So today's tip is, when you are thinking about who you are and you're thinking about introducing yourself to people, and so let me pause for a second and tell you guys. So this is the season for a lot of holiday parties, a lot of networking events, a lot of mixers. So if you are going out into the community and you're doing it with the intention to network or to engage with people, to meet people, this is the best time to practice your introduction of yourself. This is the best time for you to sit and say, hey, you know what? I'm going to be going to these different things, and I want to make sure that I am giving people a very solid idea of who I am. So what I would say to you is, sit down for about 5 or 10 minutes and write some adjectives that you would like for people to know about you. Whatever that adjective is. If you want people to know that you are the best at training, or you're the best. Okay, I think it went out for a little bit, but that's okay. It's technology, and there's going to always be a technology blip. But so going back to what I was sharing with you guys, if you are going to be going out and networking with people, sit down and write about 5 adjectives that you would like for people to get from you, that you would like them to know about you. So maybe you want people to know that you are intelligent. Maybe you want people to know that you are business savvy. Maybe you want people to know that you are passionate. Whatever it is that you really want people to know, write those 5 adjectives down, and then ask yourself, how can I introduce myself in a way that those 5 adjectives actually shine through? So when you think about it, so think about your organization, think about your business, think about if you're a speaker, whatever it is that you choose to do, write down 5 adjectives that you believe truly speak to your character and who you are. And then think about some things that you could say that really clearly deliver those adjectives about yourself or your character. And use this holiday season, while you're going to holiday parties and going to networking events, use that to test that introduction of yourself. So if you're just joining and you're just now seeing this, this is part 1 of my Communication is Creation series. And when we talk about communicating and creating, you have to be able to create the image of yourself, whoever you are. If you are the leader of a nonprofit organization, if you're the leader or CEO of a business, if you are doing solopreneur and you want to go out and you want to be a speaker and you are talking to people about whatever it is that you're passionate about, you have to start with knowing that communication is creation, and you are creating the image of yourself. You are creating what people will think about you when you're gone. So that does take a little bit, excuse me, of thought. Don't go into that blindly. Sit down, take a couple minutes for you to write down what it is that you really want people to know about you. And I say that because sometimes when we go out and we're networking, if we get really nervous and we're not really good at introducing ourselves, or we're not necessarily, some people are good at talking about other things, but they struggle with talking about themselves. So if you struggle with talking about yourself and giving people a clear understanding of who you are, prepare it. So there's nothing wrong with sitting down, writing down a couple of adjectives, making sure that you are writing some sentences that lead you into a good conversation with people. So to start with, know who you are. Knowing who you are and writing down what you want to deliver to people so that there is no misunderstanding. You don't want people to walk away from an introduction or an engagement with you not fully understanding what it was that you wanted to translate. So the best way to do that is by preparing for it. So remember that communication is creation, and you have to start with creating who you are and then making sure that you are communicating that in an effective way. So again, my name is Tiffany Taylor Hicks, and I am the CEO of Velvet Rope Experience Training Solutions. We do content, we also do training, and I love teaching people about what they can do to take who they are, put that into content so that they can translate that into other areas of their business or other areas of their organization. So if you notice, I have on my t-shirt today and it says, we create epic training experiences. So just know that everything that you do is about teaching people or training people to know more about you, your organization, and your business. And you really, really want to start with your introduction of who you are and really having a good understanding of that, because that will take you a long way. I'd love for you guys to tune in. I will do another part. Part 2 of this series is going to be talking to people about what you do. Because remember, who you are and what you do can be a little bit different, and the dialogue might be different. So tune in to part 2 of this series, where we'll be talking about communication is creation, and we'll be talking about what you do and how to get that across to others. So until then, it was interesting today talking to you guys. Hopefully everybody, if you have any questions, please make sure that you drop a note in the live and ask me questions about how you can introduce yourself, or talk to me or tell me a little bit more about adjectives that you think may work for you. And if you need some advice on what it is that you can do to try to shake off the nervousness that you may have when you're going out and you're networking and you're talking to people and creating who you are, or communicating who you are, let me know. If this live helped you in any way, please also feel free to drop a note. Again, my name is Tiffany Taylor Hicks, and I am the owner of Velvet Rope Experience Training Solutions. You can follow me on social media under Velvet Rope Experience everywhere. I'm on Instagram. I'm also on Twitter, as well as Facebook and LinkedIn. So I will talk to you again soon. And until the next time I talk to you guys, remember that communication is creation.